Just be all bubbly, energetic. I want to be goofy. Obviously, it is the holidays. Oh, fuck you, holidays! Hence the hat. Incredibly itchy. Today I'm going to be rambling about family. I've got books behind me because I need to remind myself that this is a YouTube channel related to books. Family is a huge part of most people's lives. Maybe not everybody's, but it is definitely a huge part of my life. I grew up in a very large family. I love my family. Our experiences as children and our lives growing up with family have a big impact on how we interpret things later on, and they have a big impact on personality development and who we are as people. So the same thing with characters that you're writing about, you're going to want to think about their family history. It's one of those things that can sometimes get away with you if you start thinking about the family history, and then it turns into this huge, long, trilogy prequel series that you have to write because you created all these characters, and yeah, that might be a little bit too much. You do want to think about your character's history in relation to their character development. Things to consider: ethnicity, their social class, if they grew up in a large family. If they're a middle child, are they going to be more of a peacemaker, diplomatic? Were they the oldest, so they used to kind of having to take charge and be responsible for people? Or are they only children? Were they the only kids? Another thing to take into consideration is their family still going to be present in their life throughout the plot of the story. Is it feasible that someone who grew up in a large family and family was a huge part of their life is suddenly not going to ever have siblings around them, or family members reach out to them during any part of the story? Probably not, unless there's some sort of weird plot line where they are separated from their family. Did I take my keys off? Okay. Some common family tropes that I see out there are, and Taryn's about to walk in the door. You got it? That's fine. I'm kind of just rambling at this point.
She's just rambling at this point.
Meaning it just.
It's how you ramble. You're supposed to ramble.
Yes.
I wondered why the light was on. Like in the window, I was like,
wow, it's so bright inside.
Yeah, it must be Hallie's inner flame. It's
just my inner flame. I am going to wait to continue until your shoes are no longer making clicky noises. They're not even heels. They're
not even wedges.
Yeah, they're just clicky.
You just have wood.
Have you seen my new shoes?
They are made out of wood.
Sometimes you can get away with having characteristics that wouldn't necessarily be associated with coming from that type of background. People, in reality, who are unpredictable that way. But there are some really common tropes, if you will, that I don't necessarily find to be relatable. Oh, their parents have died and the children are now taking care of themselves for whatever reason. And it's this big, huge deal, and they get sore and sad every time the idea of parents gets brought up. As a person who lost one of their parents at a very young age, for the most part, you learn how to cope and you learn how to live and function beyond that. And I don't really see that well represented in literature, or a lot of times when they're using that trope of the dead parents. It feels like they are kind of just using it as a plot device to prevent them from having to have parents around. If they want to have a plotline that's largely surrounded by a younger demographic. I actually think that including family in the storyline can actually give you really good material to present things about the character that you may not be able to present outside of that type of interaction. So, if you have a scene that includes family members, you can see how that character, the more main character, is interacting with those family members. Maybe the bicker with their family and you're like, oh, well, that's why they're quick to bicker with this person, or they get put down by their family and you're like, this is where they're getting those insecurities from, or maybe they have really high expectations coming from their family and that's why they're like so driven. If you have a family, you probably know that family can be a lot of drama. Books, you want drama, so why not include families which will create drama? You can create all kinds of conflict by adding in family characters. Sibling rivalry, maybe there's things that your character is not wanting to share with their family. We all have secrets that we don't, share everything with all of our family members. Some people have really great relationships with their siblings or their parents, but other people don't. And so that could be a source of conflict. But also family, which doesn't necessarily even have to be a biological family. This could be a collected family. It could be an adopted family, whatever the situation that you choose to go with. But it can not just be conflict, but it can also be a solution. Yeah, but chop that line was gonna go way smoother in my head. Oh, that is getting itchy. Sometimes family likes to do things that'll get into the way of your filming time, like having their alarms go off. Families can be obnoxious. Sometimes you say things that are going to offend your family members and you have to apologize. Families can also, though, be a great way to add resolution or to add support for the character. In some families, it's really all about coming together and supporting each other, even necessarily when you're not wanting to. You sometimes will have that loyalty to your family where you will, make sacrifices for them, and they'll come together for you as well. And so, yeah. I don't know if this is going to be cohesive at all, but I kind of feel like at this point I probably should just make it a rap. I'm just going to do like a rap, but no. What are your thoughts? Do you like your family? Do you hate your family? Do you get along? Do you not get along? Are they supportive? Are they not supportive? Do you think that it's really relevant to your character's development to have a good idea of where their family history is coming from? What do you think? Tell me in the comments. I start the thought and then it does not. That might make the final cut.